All right, kiddos, video number 2. If we go under Remote Learning Day 2, we're going to be looking at this practice worksheet that quickly goes through accuracy, precision, and then qualitative and quantitative observations. So let's get this one up and running now so that you can correct any of the answers that you may have gotten incorrect. I do believe I went through and left some comments for some people just to help out and fix your work. So the one thing about accuracy and precision is really understanding the difference. And so I left the definitions, sorry, I was blanking on the word. I left the definitions to the terms at the top of the page. Now it's really important that you understand accuracy means you have to have something to compare individual data to. So if I'm throwing darts at a dartboard, I have to know where I'm throwing them in order to determine the accuracy of my throws. If I'm looking at data, then I have to know what the known value or the expected value was in order to figure out how accurate my measurements were. And the difference between that and precision allows you to look at large sets of data all at once, whereas accuracy is individual data compared to a known. Precision is looking at all of the data grouped together and figuring out how closely related they all are. Okay, so to have high precision means everybody got measurements that were very close together. Okay, and so I'm going to really just discuss question number 2 briefly. The known value in this case was that the density of the material was 1.15 grams. If you wanted to make general comments about the accuracy, you had to talk about each trial. So trial 1 was not very accurate. Trial 2 was very accurate. Trial 3, not very accurate. You have to take them individually to compare them to the known. Okay. For part B, if we're talking about the precision of all the trials, I'm looking at all trial 1, 2, and 3. I'm comparing the 0.85 to the 1.16 and the 1.36, and I would say they had very low precision. Nobody got a measurement that was close to each other. Now the second part of this had you looking at different properties of matter and determining first, does it represent a chemical property, which describes how a substance would change, or a physical property, which just describes the substance without changing what it originally is. And then you also had to look at, was that information qualitative? Was it just a description? Or is it quantitative? Can it be measured with numbers? Okay, so I'm going to go through the chemical and physical properties first, and then I'm going to go through qualitative and quantitative. Okay, so magnetism, whether or not an object is magnetic, is a physical property. There's nothing about magnetism that changes what the substance is. Again, the fact that it's blue in color would be a physical property. Now, boiling point is also a physical property because it's the temperature at which a liquid changes to a gas. That's a phase change. It's still the same substance, physical property. Flammability, however, represents the idea that a substance will burn. And if something burns, it becomes brand new, chemical property. Mass is a physical property. I can change how much of something I have, but it doesn't change what it is. Density, also a physical property because it is made from the mass and the volume, how much stuff is in a specific space. And those are both physical quantities, so density is a physical property of a substance. That something would react violently with water, the word react tells you it is being chemically combined and therefore is a chemical property. The length of something, it's just how long it is. It doesn't change what it is, physical. Luster, are you shiny or not? That's a physical trait. Melting point, just like boiling point, is a phase change. So the substance does not change what it is going from a solid to a liquid. Same substance, physical. Volume is how much space an object takes up. You know, I take up a lot more space now than I did when I was younger, but I'm still the same stuff. Physical property. Now, dissolving can be one of those confusing pieces because you think that it is changing the substance that is being dissolved, but it's not. It's just spreading that substance throughout the liquid. If you were to evaporate the liquid away, you get the substance back in its same form, which makes it a physical property. And temperature as well. Temperature is just a physical property, just tells you how warm something is in comparison to the environment. Okay, so there you have it. Most of what was here are physical properties. Only a few really describe how something would change into something new. On the other half of this, we have our qualitative. Those are words and descriptions of substances versus quantitative. How much? How much of it do you have? Can it be measured? Okay, with numbers. So, magnetism is qualitative. It just is yes or no. To be blue in color is qualitative. Now, boiling point can be a little tricky because it's actually a temperature, which means it's measured. So it is quantitative. Flammability just tells you if it burns. That's qualitative. Mass is a measured value. We use numbers to represent the mass. That is quantitative. Density, the same. It's a number, numerical measurement. It is quantitative. Quantity, how many, how much. Okay. That it reacts with water is a qualitative observation. There's no numbers I have to measure. You just see that it does react. Length gives you a number right in there, so it's automatically quantitative. Luster, is it shiny or not? That's just a quality, it just describes how it looks. Melting point, much like boiling point, requires a temperature. Therefore, it's a measurement. It is quantitative. Volume, there's a number right in there. It is quantitative. Now, whether or not something dissolves, that just shows you it does dissolve. You weren't measuring anything in there, so it's qualitative. And then the temperature, because it is a number value, is quantitative. And there you have it, the difference between physical and chemical properties, qualitative and quantitative observations. Correct your work, please.